Kitchen. Today we'll be making Amish white bread. It's very simple, very fun recipe that's been in my family for years. It has all of 6 ingredients and begins with 2 cups of water, 1 packet of dry yeast, 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 1/4 of a cup of oil, and 6 cups of flour, plus a little bit more for dusting and for baking. We will begin by using 1 large bowl and adding the water. Again, 2 cups of warm water, tepid, about skin temperature. The sugar is, I use brown sugar, you can use anything from honey to white sugar. This is just a preference. Now I mix the water, sugar, and yeast together, and the rationale is that you want the yeast to activate and come alive. Now, I'm going to let this sit for half an hour. Getting a bit of oxygen in, and it will start to foam on itself. It'll smell exactly like brewing beer or fresh beer, and that's because the yeast is the same that you use for brewing as for baking. It's a fermentation process that works on the same principles. So that's it. Now you've noticed that the top is starting to foam, and it'll start to smell like a good English lager. And now we're ready to begin. I'm going to need you to look at this because for those who want to measure, you can measure this. I believe it's about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. What fits in the palm of your hand, as such. And for measuring sake, we're going to use the same exact cup that we used for sugar, which is 1/3 of a cup. We're going to add the oil. This oil is dual purpose and replaces butter. It's a healthy way to do this, and it also serves to lubricate and work with the thing. So we add these together. Now that we've added our oil and salt and sugar, we have one last ingredient to put in. Of course, the flour. We're going to add in total 6 cups of flour. The key is to add them slowly, probably 1 to 2 cups at a time. I have a 2-cup measuring spoon, so we're going to go with that. So, sort of flatten the top. And the first 2 cups all at once. And stirring with a solid wooden spoon. Now that we've incorporated the first 2 cups, I'm going to begin with adding more. We'll reach this to 4 cups. You'll notice it starts to get very stiff after this. And you may wonder whether the 6th cup will go into the bread or not. But keep going. Now we're on cups 4 to 6. as we stir. These last 2 cups will incorporate a little bit of the Now you can see the spoon stands straight up in the bowl, and we have our bread ready to be transferred into a slightly oiled, larger bowl that we will be able to use for allowing the bread to rise. Cover it well with oil, kneading just a little to incorporate all of the flour. And we allow it to rest for 30 minutes. Okay. An important part of this process is to cover this with a tea towel, and we'll wait until it doubles in size, and then we'll begin kneading. In the meanwhile, I'm going to prepare the area for creating the knead, and that includes putting flour onto a clean table. And we have already cleaned our table off, and we're adding flour now. Bread apart we'll be ready to knead our bread in about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, now that we've let our bread set for a while, take a look at it here. It's doubled in size. What we're going to do now is to knock the bread down so that it deflates again, and we're going to remove it from our bowl and quickly place it to our flour sheet. Now what I want to do is give it a quick knead to make sure that it's smooth and ready. Trying to absorb as much of the flour that we have on our table as possible. Now that we can see this bread is smooth, ready for the second raising before baking, we're going to first turn our oven on to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 170 centigrade, and we need this just a bit more, and oil my trays. We don't want this to rest too long. along while we're doing this. So give it one last knead. Notice that it's not sticking to our table, it's holding our flour well. And what we want to do is to break this into 2 even halves. And simply pinch them, roll them out, and now place them into each bread pan. Simple as that. Now that we have them in the bread pan, we're going to cover, allow to raise for a second time. This will give us a more airy and fluffy bread. I just figured I would add this in. This is a kind of lazy Andrew part. If you want to have this raised a little bit faster, you can put it on top of a warm oven. This has just been used, and I put the 2 pans up here so that we can decrease the amount of time we need to wait before we can enjoy our bread. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 35 minutes and our bread has risen. As you can see, it's doubled inside and filled the pan. Our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Now we just kind of get to place it in the oven, as so. And I will check this in exactly 30 minutes or when it begins to smell perfect. And welcome back. So, we've been here and just enjoying conversations, talking about bread, smelling bread, and let's see if oh my gosh, it looks like we're getting close. Now the way I check it is to burn myself, and I like to knock on it. You can tell that it's done when you have a nice brown, crispy coating on the top. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of water, but this time we just ended up getting it perfectly right. I'm going to let these, take them both out of the oven. I would like to put them on a rack to cool, but let's see how this turns